All right, welcome to this project right here for water animals. And you can see right here, this is the website that I've created. We got pictures and we got some texts that go along with it. And of course you can see we got images here, and then we have a fig caption tag that goes along with, well, some captions on this. And of course you can see those captions or text in the website. So what we want to do is do some styling in here. Okay, as you'd probably expect. So we're going to start here in the image tag. You don't really need that much space there. Maybe I should have taken that next one, but in any case, for the images, what we want to do is start by making these float in a specific direction. Now, if you wanted to float them right, this is what it would look like. So if I was to say, hey, do this right here, you can see it floats to the right. I think you can do middle too. Let's try this out. I forget. Middle? Let's see if that works. Middle. I hope it doesn't. So you got right and left. I think there's others, but again, I forget what they are. You can Google it if you like. We're going to float these to the left, and then what we're going to do is float the fig captions to the right. Now there is no fig caption styling going on. We're going to have to insert that ourselves. So FIGCAPTION, fancy brackets, as usual. And again, we'll float these to the right just to start out with. And if I were to save this and try it, you can see, I don't know if it's big enough there. It's there it goes. If I make it small enough, you can see now it's floating to the right. If by chance we were to take away the ability for it to float all the way to the right, then you can see it kind of collides with the picture, and so it just kind of pushes it down like that. But this is, let's see if I can zoom out here until it floats. Okay, 50% looks like it works. Okay, so again, you can't really see the text. We're not concerned about that. We're not necessarily concerned about the pictures either, but at least we got them floating left and right, kind of away from each other. Now, because we've already been doing this, we're going to go to padding, and we're going to talk about EM, which I believe stands for ephemeral. So one EM, for example, is just really going to make the padding in this case, which we know is the space between the content and the border, it's going to make it exactly one of whatever the text size is, or in this case font size. So where we have an 18 pixel font size down here, we would expect an 18 pixel padding between the content and also the border. So if I were to reload this, you can kind of see it push that down. Of course, this is only applying to the fig caption stuff, which is why it did not apply to the picture. Which, of course, you could come in here and say, could we put in some padding for the images? Yeah, you can do one EM as well, which again should be 18 pixels. And if you reload that, you can see the paddings there. Whether you put that in there or not, you can put it in there. You don't have to. It is going to give you credit either way. But I'll show this because remember, the font size is 18 pixels. So if I were to do 18 pixels, watch this. Nothing's going to change because remember, EM, ephemeral, which is just a quick way to put in the text size or the font size, it matches the two, but again, if I put in the pixels, it's exactly the same. Notice that didn't move at all, okay? So whether you want to keep it there or not, it's completely up to you, or whether you start with padding or margins, doesn't really matter. Next, we're going to put in some margins, though, so margin, colon, and this time, yeah, we'll do 2 EMs on this one. And again, if I reload that, now you can see, there's a little space there in between the borders. Okay, so there's our margin. What they want us to do is put in a width, and you can put in whatever width you want. You're going to want to follow along with the assignment, though. I'm just going to go for 50%. So again, it should squish this down until it's about halfway to the center, and that's the entire fig caption. Okay, so the fig caption part, this part should only take up 50%. Boom, there it is, 50% of the box, and that's of course halfway in between the middle of the box there. So there's 50%. of width, and we already did float. We got some padding. Last thing I'm going to do is give it a border. Okay, and we're going to make the border have a width of 4 pixels. Just to start out. Now you can't see anything because what we really need is a border style to attach it to. And the border style that I'm going to go with is, I'm going to go with dotted. On this one, you could do dashed, you could do solid or double. But I'm going to do dotted on this one, and now you can see we got a dotted fake caption box right here. And we're going to give it some color. So border dash color colon. And you make it whatever color you want. I'm going to go and make mine red. And there it is, nice and red right there. Now there's a different way to do this. 4 pixels, you know, let's make that bigger so we can see that. Let's try see if 12 pixels will work. Oh, I didn't save it. There we go. So 12 pixels, a little bit more visible on that. Okay, but there is a shortcut which they talked about on the video. Is if you want to, you can do all 3 of these in one line. So the first number is the width. The second number is the style, which again I had dotted, but again I'll just show that it will change if I do dashed. And then the color, again I'll change the color here. Let's go ahead and make it, lime seems to work pretty well for our stuff. It should show up pretty good. So if I were to reload this, you got lime, but now notice it changed from dotted to dashed. All on the same line, so you can take a little shortcut there. Instead of using 3 lines of code, you can do it all on 1 line of code, and that's okay. But either way will work. And that's really all we need for this assignment. What did we do? We did all this code right here. Again, the padding right here for the images is stuff that I put in there. I just kind of put that in there. But fig caption, all the styles for the fig captions and stuff we put in. That's it. So if you need any of the code, now's a good time to probably pause and or rewind, but that's it for me, you guys. So see you in the next one.